I think they're just going to be looking at playing a little bit more of their comfort zone. And think about the Nigma heroes, for instance. You know, they love their Dawnbreaker. They've picked it a lot. They first faced it a lot throughout the tournament. LGD, we said, they're maybe not so comfortable, but Nyx is a block pick to Dawnbreaker.
Yeah.
Right? You feel much worse picking it into the Nyx.
Yeah, exactly. I think if you look at a lot of the drafts from LGD, you'll see not so much in the first phase potentially bans for Dawnbreaker, but definitely second phase you see that familiar face pop up for them. So yeah, exactly. Deny pick. They actually banned it against Nigma last series, or sorry, in the game 1 draft as well in the second phase. Nigma have been picking it pretty consistently through the tournament. So.
And I wonder even if you maybe even second guess the Zeus. I think it goes both ways, but Nyx is a really good hero at locking down the Zeus, with the Heavenly Jump now being like an AoE damage spell, and the Carapace being really effective against that. Okay, they still go for the Zeus, but we've seen Nigma do the Dawnbreaker Zeus the entire tournament. And because of the first pick Nyx, they actually went away from the Dawnbreaker, and now LGD kind of pushed them a little bit out of their comfort zone. They end up going for the Wyvern and the Zeus, but it's much different, right? Because the Dawnbreaker is fully flexible, the Wyvern is not. Or at least Nigma has not shown yet that they're willing to flex it on Sumail.
That's very true. They probably are going to be quite happy to get their hands on it, though. It is a very much a winning hero for Nigma that LGD also enjoyed banning in the second phase, so they will shift priorities towards picking up that hero a bit sooner. Just from kind of glancing through drafts, no, it's still actually a pretty normal first phase as well for Nigma to be.
It's a hero
honest.
that they like.
Yeah.
I think the big difference is, you know, if you were to run a Wyvern Zeus support combination, it comes with a lot of downsides. Yeah. These are heroes that are pretty bad at rotating, bad at killing early on in the game. You know, obviously you don't have the curse yet, so all you have really to work with is some slows and a little bit of nuke damage. I feel like the core heroes, they have to make up for it. And we go for another Ember. Okay, I mean, this is interesting. We've seen LGD, they have picked this Ember. I think it was against Secret Zeus, and they got completely dumpstered.
Yeah.
Ember, I think, has one of the worst win rate in the entire tournament right now. I think it's probably, even if you look at the amount of games played versus the amount of losses, it's probably the worst core hero of the tournament. It might not mean much yet, but this just shows a lot of confidence from LG. It's like, you know, it was just a bad day. We still believe in the Ember versus the Zeus, and we're willing to push it.
Okay. We've also seen a pick that now has gone ignored in this first phase. I know that LGD love a lot. Richie, it's the Warlock here.
Oh yeah, it's actually still ignored.
Yep.
Yeah, that might end up being a ban. I think the somewhat dangerous part about that is that your support duo Nyx Warlock, that doesn't seem all too bad, to be completely honest.
No, I quite like it actually.
Yeah.
You know, Nyx is the kind of hero that kind of starts the fight but lacks a little bit of damage. He wants follow-up. He wants the Warlocks and the Phoenix of the world to kind of help him win the fight that he started for you.
Yeah,
so
and they kind of complement each other, right?
Yeah.
Some good vision, like you're saying on the Nyx. Warlock has the cast range, but usually not the vision.
And it's
Ember
the same
Spirit.
with the Ember. Think about the Fatal Bond into the Ember AoE. That is crazy good.
Yep. Fatal Bonds here. No Dispels either on this Nigma or Zeus hero either.
Yep.
So that's currently still going to be potentially problematic for Enigma to deal with.
It's definitely a hero that would fit very well LGD's lineup, especially because, you know, one of the ways to maybe abuse Warlock a little bit is use the fact that he's not so good at rotating around, right? Yeah. You're not worried, watch out, Warlock is missing. Warlock is missing. Nobody cares that Warlock is missing. What is he going to do realistically? Is he going to gank you?
He's going to golem you from fog, right?
Mighty Shadow Word from the fog. It's like, no, he ganked me again. That doesn't happen. So what I mean is, like, when you have supports that are passive and happy to sit on the lane, such as Zeus and Wyvern, you know, Warlock is fine with that. That's what he does. He actually enjoys sitting on the lane. Zeus is gonna harass you. Warlock is gonna out heal the damage that Zeus or Wyvern would do. Sure. So it's a perfectly fitting game for Warlock, in my opinion. Whereas you play Warlock versus these heavy gankers, such as a Clockwork or an Ench. Now it's like your mid laner's dying because of the ganks, and there's not much you can do about it. Yeah,
that's a good point, right? I think one definitely downside of Zeus or Wyvern, regardless of their positions, is they're a little bit more dependent on their cooldowns, or like they've got longer cooldowns, right? So does the Warlock. He's got still one of the longest ulti cooldowns in the entire game on that chaotic offering. So you know, into the tinies, maybe he's now a consideration, right?
Yeah.
You know, kind of maybe if Warlock is still on the table for LGD, you know, a hero that just likes to fight a lot faster.
Kuro's just, you know, doing another one of his infamous no stuns lineup so far. I'm really hoping that we're gonna see some stuns in the second phase. You know, I think LGD, you know, they're banning the monkey. Great ban. Obviously, you know, one of the few core heroes that gives you a stun, synergizes really well with the Wyvern. You know, think about the curse as being a setup for the Wukong. Also, monkey does get the Jingu stacks against embrace targets, so that's also something that can kind of, you know, play against you when you're you're trying to do that. But anyways, I mean, the second phase here is gonna be super important. I feel for Nigma, they have to find their heroes that are gonna truly enable these supports, because these supports, they can look really underwhelming with the wrong cores, and with the right cores, they can look deadly.
That's very true. Yeah, Nigma right now, when they look to want to start fights, they're very strong. And there's the Tiny.
That's perfect.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah, heavy stuns. One thing to mention, I think MC is actually open to the idea of playing a Zeus position 3. I do not know if it's a pub game thing or if it's an official. I cannot remember. I just know that he can be looking at the hero potentially. So maybe this is a little bit more flexible than what we would normally give it credit for.
Do you think that Nigma also values the Ember as a counter to the Zeus? Do you think they also see it that way?
Probably. It's definitely something they could be looking at. Tiny has a much better matchup against the... You know, Tiny Core can also be quite interesting here. I mean, it's a hero that really doesn't care about Nyx. You know, the second he sees him, he just bursts him down, and the Carapace then does not come as a threat whatsoever. Probably much better matchup against the Ember than the Zeus would be. It's definitely a possibility.
Here's the DP again for PSG.LGD. That Warlock's still in the pool. We'll see if that's going to be the next pick, though. But that DP...
It's quite good against Tiny Core, potentially. Also, I think decently good against Wyvern, I want to say, right? One of the heroes that really doesn't really care much about Curse. She does a lot of damage, but not to her allies. Like, Exo is not going to turn. It's not going to get affected by the Curse. She has very little right-click damage. And just, you know, what DP really does is she runs you down, and Wyvern really hates that. Phoenix.
Yeah, some very weak egg hitters, right? Tiny infamously so, 0 agi gain.
Literally none.
Yeah, so that's going to be quite
There's the
concerning.
egg hitter.
Yeah, but there is indeed the egg scrambler. It's still the Nyx assassin, right? So the lane is fairly favored for the Nyx. Simply wait for the Carapace. Sorry, wait for the Blood Right to appear, and then Carapace last second to make sure you can return that pure damage.
I love the Phoenix pick. I think it's very similar to what Warlock would have done. He sits on the lane, he brings an immense amount of teamfight, immense amount of damage, synergizes really well with... He just enables heroes like Nyx and Ember that are going to be setting up the fight for you and are going to lack damage. Then Phoenix DP, they kick in and you know, they deal with that part. I mean, I like the Bloodseeker pick. I think it's interesting, you know, Rupture versus DP. It's annoying for DP.
Sure.
Obviously, Bloodseeker, very good hero at killing the egg, good hero at threatening the Phoenix from afar, you know. Try to silence him, it doesn't happen. You chill, it happens, you go in, you kill him during the silence duration. At the same time, as you mentioned, I think that the Nyx, both the Nyx and the Ember actually are really good heroes at locking down Bloodseeker. That's what you need against Bloodseeker, right? You need a stun to kill him because he's always kind of hasted. These three heroes, they do it really well.
Yeah, I mean, Ember, of all the brothers, he has probably the least problems getting away when he's ruptured. It doesn't bother him extremely, especially because he can have a safety remnant back. So that seems pretty good. Right now, though, as far as like the support game goes, I slightly favor like Enigma's supports, just slightly, because they've got a lot of heroes to grant vision right between the Zeus, so you can try and find the Zeus and even the Bloodseeker, right, with the Blood Right to provide vision, try and find this Phoenix and take him very quickly out of the fight between a Zeus or even a Tiny jump in. I really do like that. Whereas, you know, finding the Wyvern with the Nyx, normally not that hard, but into a Zeus in any role is going to be a little challenging, I think.
I think once again we see the two styles clashing, you know, because I look at how the fight might develop in these games, and right now I really want to heavily favor LGD. I feel like they're going to have a much easier way to take the fights. It's even looking a little bit scary for Nigma, if you want my honest opinion. But yet again, Nigma, they're looking at other things. They have very, very strong laners in the Bloodseeker, in the Zeus, the Tiny. I mean, not only laners, but like how the early game's gonna go. It's much easier to impact the game with a Zeus, a Tiny running around than like with a Phoenix, for instance, or Death Prophet. These heroes, that's not what they strive at. So we're once again gonna see this clash of playstyle and ideas on how Dota should be played these days.
Final pick of CK, which will give him a little bit more laning phase as well, but still a really strong mid-game carry and usually pretty decent against Bloodseeker. Has one more lockdown to add to the pool.
Yeah, pretty good against the Tiny as well, right? It's the 0- armor strat. You just get right in there on top of him. Tiny hates being jumped first. He would much rather do the jumping. Hero that can blow up a Wyvern, a Zeus with great ease, and doesn't really care for being silenced. But into the Dawnbreaker. It's the last pick, Dawn, still even into the Nyx.
That's interesting. Into the Nyx, into the Phoenix also. I think Phoenix is a great matchup against Dawnbreaker, both on the lane and in the game. He just places the egg, and Dawnbreaker ulti cannot really turn that. Actually, he kind of sends himself into death, into a stun. I like the CK for enabling the Phoenix. I think Phoenix, what he needs is, you know, early laning presence so that he doesn't grief the lane himself, and so that he can transition smoothly into the game. So very good pick in my opinion. I mean, I like where this is heading for LGD. At the same time, this is perfect comfort zone for Nigma.
Right. Richie, this comfort zone, is it going to be enough? Do you think it actually counters the LGD style well here?
Well, I'd say, you know, the CK is certainly not as weak and exploitable of a laner as, say, the Faceless Void was, so there is some concern there to be certain. And again, the catch between the Nyx and the teamfight follow-up from a CK could be very punishing because they kind of need all these heroes alive for Nigma, but the lanes, again, are looking quite favorable for them, even if they have still this Nyx Assassin to interrupt. It is their style, they could get it done.
Definitely. It's going to be interesting. I think both teams are a little bit adapting, you know, they're kind of shifting up a little bit of what they did before, try to have less exposure to what the other team's throwing at them, so it's going to be a tight one.
Okay. We'll see who is capable of taking game 2 and if Nigma, more importantly, is capable of forcing a game 3. And to cast this great encounter, we have a classic combo. Bring it together, the cost.
That's right, here we are as Nigma changed things up a little bit. A lot of heals, a lot of reset tools for Nigma's draft. And LGD also mixing up a little bit. That CK for Armor as the last pick. A hero that has fallen out of favor a little bit recently, but LGD looking to bring it back.
Yeah, some slight adjustments from both of these teams. Nigma, again, having a little bit of more global presence with the Dawnbreaker, with the Zeus. Also, I've seen a lot of teams, not just in this tournament, but also previous DPC, trying to go for Zeus and the Bloodseeker, providing vision for the Bloodseeker so he can connect onto the target. And there are a couple of counter picks that we usually, like, it's the other way around that people do pick it, but yeah, panel mentioned about like Phoenix as well. Nothing that can kill the egg except the Bloodseeker. So these other 4 heroes are so-so. Also want to see what the build on Sumail is going to be, whether we're talking about the Echo Saber or it's going to be something that Mickey has done in one of the games. Blink into Aghanim Scepter straight away. Also, this was Dawnbreaker into Nyx Assassin. Yeah. So that's a bit of a tricky one. I don't know if they feel like they can burst him down immediately with the Zeus Tiny combo, because this is the mid-Tiny we're talking about. Also, like, I'm slightly favoring PSG.LGD because of their like support duo, because Nyx, Phoenix, they do scale incredibly well. Not as strong in the first 10, 12, 15 minutes of the game, but once you get the ball rolling, these heroes are insanely good at team fighting. Missed stun.
Jin on the run. Also a few little swaps around as well. You know, GH is going to be this bottom lane support with the Winter Wyvern.
Also, the reason I like PSG.LGD supports more is because it's Phoenix, Nyx.
All right, of course, there you go. That's your one for the day. Back in the dungeon you go.
Yeah, this is, you know, elimination game we're talking about. Got to be more serious. Just had to get this one out. Zeus will be paired up with the mind control, something that Nigma has been doing lately, where GH plays the safe lane. It's a lot of, like, because it gives you a lot of damage, Arctic Burn, plus later on Blood Right, because he did start with the Thirst, and yeah, Nyx Assassin doesn't provide you with much in the laning stage. It's one stun.
Then you're done.
And then you're done, pretty much. Nice rhyme, Gary.
Thank you very much. Already Wise, you know, zone Kuroki back out of lane, but Zeus will return. Get some denies going for himself. GH zoning Jinkyu out, who's dragged the wave, melee creeps only. Ranged one has gone on a bit of a wander elsewhere.
At least mind control in this top lane is not going to be playing against Nyx, because you would have 2 melee heroes on the safe lane and 2 melee heroes on the off lane. Maybe if they had it like 3-1 in terms of melee plus ranged combo, I think they would be able to make an adaptation. But with this heroes, I don't think they can do much. So you're just going to have to suck it up and play the laning stage.
And what about this mid lane as well? Ember against Tiny. Is Sumail going to come out on top with his physical prowess? Or is there something and nothing to say he can do to
this is a very skilled matchup. We're talking about 2 extremely skilled players in the mid lane. I expect this to be pretty even. Like, I've seen this matchup go both ways. I don't think this is a matchup where one is going to stomp the other one. Pretty even in terms of farming, and this is the big one.
Jinkyu silenced. Arctic Burn slows him. He's in the river and he's dead, sinking down. The next Assassin's corpse falling as GH spills that first blood. Why though? Dead to the zaps of Kuro.
Yeah, something we mentioned, like the supports on PSG.LGD early on, not really as strong. You need to get the levels. Mind control. Thinking about going in.
Arme just resetting himself, get that composure back. Does have the Phoenix arriving again, and Mind Control misses out on his Starbreaker. So nice to have the Zeus in your lane, though, is continually securing range creeps, getting your experience, and zoning out the opponents. And why not able to really pull this wave back and get any pulls off? He's always being chased, and Tiny. Toss has nothing to say under tower, but no aggro on him. The avalanche and the punches are good from Sumail.
It's a good harassment, nothing to say. Does have a healing salve. Sumail doesn't have a tree to potentially cancel that healing salve. Needed to pick it up. And a good usage of the glyph.
Yeah,
usually it's the mid laners who get to use it, but so far so good at this bottom lane. Miracle off to a really good start. 16 CS, a lot of kill threat. They're sitting at half HP. How's top lane doing? Both full HP. Like, when you have Bloodseeker on your safe lane, you want to play aggressive on the off lane.
And Faith Beyond forced to head left. Get away from the blood right, gets out his Spirit Siphon.
Now with the boots of speed, Miracle will chase him down.
And
7 stick charges.
Hunted down up to his triangle, he'll TP home knowing there's no stuns coming. And yeah, that glyph usage, I'm not sure who it was, because it was very good for bottom, but it was also very good for mid lane as well, stopping Nothing to Say from securing any last hits while Sumail put pressure on him under his tier 1.
Usually you don't get to sync up the glyph usages.
Yeah.
It's all about like, oh,
can
I do it? Probably can. Mid lane gets the priority, or sometimes off lane when they play so aggressive that they get to manage to like push the wave, get deep inside the tower, and then go for the kill. Ame sitting at 16 CS, a lot of denies there, but this bottom lane does not look too hot for PSG.
Wait, turn it on him though. Arme, he got jumped on, and now Kuro in trouble.
Kuro looks
Arme
dead.
and Y, they're getting a lot of damage into towards
does he?
Kuro. Oh, he's gonna get them both.
I thought there's going to be a Chaos Strike coming out from CK, but Kuro, level 4.5, really enjoying himself here.
No messing around from God Kuro.
This is huge, you know, getting 2 kills, getting a couple of CS, and also getting levels. We're talking about Zeus potentially hitting level 6 at the minute 9 as a support, which is pretty big.
Avalanche toss from Sumail. Nothing to Say had the Flame Guard up, and Wise rotation in, looking to kill off the Tiny. Good dive forward, secure that takedown, but Faith Beyond is being left alone down bottom, inside the blood right, and the chase from Miracle. Looking to secure the kill, but these Spirit Siphons just keep him healed, while GH's Courier killed off by the Nyx deeper in the jungle.
You need to have these Spirit Siphons when they decide to dive. Also Miracle moving at almost 500 move speed, having Orb of Venom on top of that, and also slow from Arctic Burn. Very difficult for PSG.LGD to play this lane. I'm really surprised how much they're getting from it. 21 CS on Faith Beyond, even though Jin-Q died once. Let's see if they want to play aggressive. Yeah, Jin-Q looks very dead.
Trying to bait
gonna
out
connect,
some spells.
I feel like they're going to go and dive underneath the tower.
He had to carapace a little earlier than he really would have liked to, but Miracle pops his wand to continue to fight. Decides it's not worth chasing any further. While Zeus is brought into the mid lane to try and burn through the Flame Guard, goes up to the dire high ground. Sumail doesn't want to get too involved with this.
Kuro.
Maybe now he'll jump back in with the Avalanche and the toss coming. They'll find the Phoenix.
Nothing to Say wants to grab a one from this. There's no way Kuro gets out of this one.
Get over here, Kuro. So a trade out in the mid lane from the 2 supports. Leaves Arme alone top, but this is kind of where CK wants to be, right? He's going to keep himself sustained with a Chaos Strike. And Mind Control doesn't have the same luxury.
Also, when we talked about hero counters, this was CK into Wyvern, which could potentially be a lot of trouble. Even into Zeus Tiny, it's easy to scout which one is real, but I think it's also going to come out to who's getting the first jump. Like in terms of carry-to-carry matchup, Bloodseeker, he does itemize the deal with CK, and the Illusions does have a lot of armor, but sometimes it might get overwhelming if CK is off to a really good start. 31 and 11 right now on Ame.
He's got Kuroki behind him.
Forcing a TP. They saw 2 supports, so maybe they could potentially try to play a bit aggressive on the side lanes, and here they go.
And at bottom, GH. Cold Embrace comes, allowing Miracle to...
Nyx looks very dead.
Shred through the Jin-Q Nyx Assassin. Wyvern survives the onslaught. And we did see Mind Control cutting wave top, drawing the attention of LGD up towards north. Kuro looks like he might get slight.
Now Kuro's the mid laner right now. He's like, please don't TP mid. I want my level 6.
I want that experience.
Oh, I thought he was gonna go for it, potentially with the chain lightning, stealing away some CS. Nothing to say, 34. A lot of denies in this game.
Yeah,
11 on
12.
Bloodseeker, 12 on CK, 13 on Tiny.
Sumail still level 6. Nothing to say, and Jin Q. They're not going to get the chain stuns as they would have liked. The Avalanche will hold the Nyx back as well.
Carapace on time.
Doesn't come out in the right timing, and Kuro is going to jump back across, try to defend his Sumail Tiny, forcing back the rest of LGD, killing Y and looking towards the DP as well. Miracle's joined this with everyone such low HP. He's sprinting around. Nothing to say, he's behind his tower. Safe for now. And will Remnant TP.
Different type of the games. You know, when we get close to elimination, you know that the carries are going to be much more active, especially if someone is playing hero like a Bloodseeker. So a good rotation from Miracle to be able to defend his Tiny and also get a kill. Carapace not on time to be able to just get another stun on Tiny. I don't think it would matter. I'm not sure if they would be able to close the gap. Mind control. Playing behind enemy lines. A lot of heroes showed on the mid lane.
Yeah, it just feels like he can't face off 1v1 against the CK. But he'll get the same amount of farm.
You gotta respect the mind controls, level 6. Even Zeus is level 6, something that we mentioned. Zeus level 6, 9 minutes in. Kuro pretty much dominating this game, involved in 6 out of 9 kills. Nice.
Yeah. 2,000 net worth as well. A great spot. I mean, he's basically playing position 4 this game. Grouping down bottom, looking for Jin Q. GH won't be able to do too much there, so him and Kuroki looking for a place to call their own. Looks like they... How do they pressure towers, though, here, Lacoste? It feels like Bloodseeker, these two supports, not really that great at shoving towards objectives.
They need to outnumber opponents. It's all about the global presence, play with the catapults, get 2 kills, outnumber, and then try to go for it. Tiny deals like decent amount of damage, nothing spectacular, especially early on. Nothing to say. Wants to get on top of Sumail.
Stuck down in the river.
Region as well.
Faith Bian's come in, but the Solar Guardian and the Thunder God's Wrath looking to zap down the Ember Spirit. Mind Control arrives, and Faith Bian stuck here inside the Blood Right. Sumail with Miracle joining up. The 5-man grouping by Nigma proving indomitable as LGD just didn't have the numbers to fight. Nor did they have their level 6s yet.
They need to respect this global presence. They try to play around it. Still, picking up the region rune. Ember Spirit did get cut down in the end by Mind Control. Difficult fights. They need levels, as you said, on supports. Why only level 4? Next Assassin level 5.5. Where's the Tome?
Someone's got to give it to him. Get that Supernova going. It is their big team fight ulti, alongside the Exorcism. As Mind Control chased down by Arme, nothing to say, but they realize with the snap TPs and the reactions of Nigma, there's no place for them to be up top. Retreat back to their tower, give up on that kill. When you have drawn up a number of heroes here, that gives them a little more room in the mid and the bottom lane to try and get the levels and experience they need.
Arme is still the most farm hero in the game on CK. 1 death only in the laning stage. Armlet already done, going for the Echo Saber. Pretty, I'd say, similar to the previous game where they want to get stuff done in one fight. It's not going to be aggression coming on from PSG.LGD. They might try to go for a pick-off, but they need to bring at least 1 extra hero because Dawnbreaker ulti, Zeus ulti that could scout them out. Things are going to be, I'd say, a little more difficult for PSG.LGD.
Especially with the way that Nigma are playing this 5-man group-up squad. Like right now, they are spread wide open across the map. It's like a straight line from top down to bottom of these Radiant heroes. You can see the colors on the map.
Now double Fairy Trinket, Jin Q.
But when they're ready to fight, they are ready to fight. Toss back, Jin Q, Carapace is up, gets the chain start in, but the Solar Guardian's there. Supernova, it's down in the river and no one can focus it, but with the Zeus ulti, they get the takedown on Jin Q, and there's no team fight to be had anymore. Winter's Curse on the Phoenix now. Maybe he can dive away, but the perfect chain stun from Mind Control comes in. And Kuro has enough damage to help the team bring down those 2 dire supports.
LGD will need to have another another hero, another core, because two supports, they do deal decent amount of damage right now. Good like team fight presence. It's just that they need Dead Prophet or Ember Spirit. And here on the bottom, another one for Miracle. Mega kill right now.
They need Death Prophet to not die like that down bottom, completely exposed to their Sumail and Miracle pairing.
I think what they're
14 to
waiting
3.
for is CK getting his Echo Saber, and he will be ready to join.
Some kind of big smoke, right? We've seen this from LGD. A lot of the top teams from time to time, when they are behind, they want to break out of this rhythm where they're losing traction on the map, so they go for one big smoke, one big team fight. And sometimes all it needs to open the map, get a tier 1, look for objectives, but also upset the dynamic of the opponent team.
Let's see if this is going to be a smoke. They are getting scouted at the moment. They caught 3 heroes, so Nigma should know something is up. This Observer Ward did scout it. There's only Sentry on the high ground, which does not reach. And look at positioning from GH.
Now GH will tank this gladly. It'll take a little while for them to finish him off, and Sumail realizing quite quickly he's got no place to be down here. That's not the big kill that LGD were looking for. I'll see if they can transfer this into just a little bit more with Kuro standing on the staircase, wide out in the open.
A lot of heroes showed bottom.
He whiffs the stun, Miracle comes in, he's got the Blood Right Rupture on him, Nick's down. LGD looking for that bottom tier 1 as Nigma will gather up for the mid.
We talked about the 2 supports from PSG.LGD being very greedy. Oh, Nigma, they want to defend. They have a good setup, and mind controls here as well.
Yeah, the silence comes out just a little too late.
Time to bail. They
Mind
need
control
to get out.
With GH, they're going to get Faith Beyond. Sunray from the Phoenix, not going to do anything, as Y, Faith Beyond both die, and the Soul Guardian Winter's Curse there. Resets the team fight, aim towards Army, relative back into the Starbreaker where they 2-man stun them. LGD going to get wiped off the face of the map at this rate. Sumail and MC chasing nothing to save with another tiny combo.
And Miracle's not done. He's still chasing, but no one to follow it up. I'm a bit surprised PSG.LGD decided to go for this tower push. Ame was like 50 gold away from Echo Saber, which is a lot of damage on their side. They also need to be able to reset the fight, potentially get out of the Dawnbreaker ulti. This time around, Nigma has much more AoE control, a lot more stuns, so it's not going to be that easy for PSG.LGD to reset.
Much more difficult for them. They're doing very well defending these towers, knowing that's a great way for LGD to come back into this game. Good cancel on the dive from Kuro. Well-timed lightning bolt there. Sumail wanted the high five from his captain, but Kuro's got more serious things to do.
He's de-warding, getting that money.
LGD just need to try and wait this out a little bit. They can't really defend that mid tower, just let Nigma have it. And this smoke, Jinkyu is going to try and scout it, but he'll have to spend his life for that information.
Kuro jumps in front of him with the heavenly jump. Jinkyu pinging, they have a sentry, which they do not. Smoke broke, and an instant reveal from Zeus. Zeus is more farmed than offlane DP. That's really concerning.
Faith Beyond definitely falling behind. Needs to pick things up a little bit. Still a fair distance away from his Yules, then he'll need the BKB afterwards. It's going to come down to LGD kind of cutting waves, trying to manipulate the map with little dirty tricks to find openings. As Nigma, mind control, sat down bottom alone for now, but the TPs start coming in. The route from the chains. And the quick zip back to the Remnant. LGD, one of their favorite moves, right? They bring someone bottom, they force reactions, and then they look for where else they can play on the map.
2 supports from LGD managed to get 1 level each in the last 6-7 minutes.
Oof. That's not ideal, and why? He's going to show why that's happening. Sumail, he's got their number. And Miracle 6-0-2, also having a spectacular game.
Miracle pretty much having a perfect game. very close to his BKB. One thing I like about GH's build is that he is maxing out the Cold Embrace. He understands where the real threat is going to come from, going for the Shard next. So being able to lower the cooldown on Cold Embrace, because you're playing against CK and Dead Prophet, if you manage to get 2 Cold Embraces in a fight, that could win you a team fight.
Yeah, it sure could. Like the primarily physical damage, even Sleight of Fist, going to be protected against by this Cold Embrace from GH.
Nigma has all the vision in the world. They see all 3 lanes, especially for the top. One behind the tower, one near the outpost. So whenever PSG.LGD wants to make some kind of a move, if they want to go for the smoke, it's going to be very difficult. And it's also in your head that they have global presence. We go on one hero, Dawnbreaker will ulti. One of the reasons why this hero has been so popular lately.
Yeah, you spot 1, you expect 5. There's no chance anyone's going to be isolated here on Nigma's side. And they're swarming up to top jungle. Sumail has the blink, nearly gets Echo Saber. And Faith Bianu has had a torrid game so far. It only gets worse here on out. A mega kill streak for Sumail.
Kuro was also ready, finger on Thunder Gods, just to be able to secure the kill. He is position 4 this time around. Like, he's not gonna be playing that 5 anymore. Doesn't need to buy sentries, candy ward with the lightning bolt. I think GH will shift more towards that position 5 because of the scaling.
Yeah, a bit more sacrificial from him. And when Kuro's got 5.5 grand as his net worth, you don't argue with the man, you let him have what he wants. BKBs
on Ember. Ame has his BKB as well, buys the recipe, disassembles Echo. I think they might need to force a fight.
Everyone's got their BKBs though, like Mind Control's picked one up, Miracle, look there, yeah. CK's gonna have his delivered soon as well. 2 heroes per side with that magic immunity. Gonna make an awful lot of chaos in these team fights and make target attribution a little more difficult. But it's not difficult when you do it like that, though. Knowing DP is so squishy. Zeus and Tiny
immediately removes the ward. He knew something was up.
Nothing to say. And wanting this Wyvern. Trying for the solo kill, but again, the TP reactions and the Solar Guardian. Nothing to say, trying to force these abilities out. But look at Sumail. Just diving tier 2s. You're making noise and nonsense in one lane. You're bullying and cruising towards kills in another.
Seems like LGD does not have an answer for this one. We haven't seen Exorcism being used. Jin Q, oh, misses the stun. Wouldn't matter.
Still dead regardless. Oh, a real difficult one for LGD. 26-5, reminiscent of their games up against Team Secret. A 6K lead for Nigma as well, putting them in a good spot to take this one home. And looking towards this tier 2 mid. And when do you start thinking about Roshan for Nigma? Is it after a team fight win, or can they sneak into the pit?
I don't think they need to force a fight, maybe get 1 or 2 pickoffs, because their pickoff is pretty insane. We're talking about Zeus, Rupture, Tiny, who's pretty massive, does have Echo Saber going into BKB next. Dead Prophet, damage output, very limited. 1 point in Exorcism. And we see a bit of an adjustment from CK, going for Mage Slayer next. A lot of magical damage from Tiny, from Zeus.
Makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? Yeah.
It really does.
Actually, you had the Echo Saber.
These professional e-gamers, Gary, I'm telling you, they're
Cyber
very
Sporters.
smart.
Mid-tier 1 for LGD. It's glyphed up by Nigma. And they are bringing a couple of supports in towards that zone. Miracle not really getting involved, but just Nigma showing their faces around here forces LGD back. As they do smoke. Where are they headed? No real vision anywhere. They've got 1 ward in the triangle, but Miracle shows up top around the outpost, suddenly surrounded by Dire heroes. Hey, BKB's up. Nigma coming in to try and fight around him. He just straight up kills the egg. Miracle. Beautifully done. Now the silence, the Solar Guardian onto LGD. Armate trying to stick on a target, but he can't do it. His BKB is worthless. Sumail tosses him across. Phantasm comes. MC jumps in towards them still with his BKB going. And Nigma clearing through LGD one by one. They topple like dominoes. They just called GG.
Well, when I said this fight is done, I didn't mean that the whole game is done. But yeah, Nigma.
22 bloody minutes.
It was, I'd say, only 8k gold lead, but PSG.LGD, they felt they could not take the fight. They needed